dukhanam prasade sarva dukhanam hanir ashyopajayate
हानिर् अश्वपजायते
prasanna cheta sohyesh ashu
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्य आशु
buddhi paryavatiष्ठते.
बुद्धिपर्यवतिष्ठते.
Any volunteers who would like to read the translation?
I can read.
Please.
Hare Krishna. Translation. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Hare
Hare.
Krishna.
Okay. So, in this particular section, we were reading how Krishna is talking about how anger comes by contemplating on the objects of senses. One develops attachment. If attachment is there, and um, it becomes strong, it actually develops a mentality of enjoying separate from Lord Krishna. And when that mentality comes, if it is not fulfilled, it gives anger. And if anger comes, then one cannot think clearly and gets bewildered, and the intelligence is lost. And when the intelligence is lost, then we actually land up doing more destruction to us. We cannot think what is desirable, what is not desirable. But if one is in 64 sloka, we had heard, but if one is free from such attachment and aversion and is able to control his mind and senses, then one gets the mercy of the Lord. And then here it is mentioned that when one gets the mercy of the Lord, then one does not feel miserable. So pain may be inevitable, but suffering is optional. One may be in a tough situation, but that tough situation, how that person faces in what mindset will determine whether that person is miserable or not. Somebody may be very poor. Now, that may be um, not such a good situation for that person, but if his mindset is good, he may not be miserable. On the other hand, if a person is very, very rich, has all the resources, but the mind is actually, or the mindset is having troubles, then that person may be miserable. Similarly, we see somebody who is having terminal disease. If his mind is good and if he is doing well, he may be very content and understandable. On the other hand, one may have physical body in a good shape, good condition, but that person may be feeling much more miserable. We had so many examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in different uh, other scriptures of great personalities like Kunti Maharani, who's the mother of Pandavas, or Prahlad Maharaj, who's a small child, uh, and so many others. These people underwent so much torture, exploitation, attacks, but they were pure devotees. Their mind was completely absorbed in the Lord, and therefore, even those problems came, they were able to face it. For them, they were untouched. Prahlad, small boy, Hiranyakashyap, so powerful, attacking, trying to kill. But Prahlad, he was always absorbed in the Supreme Lord, so he did not feel the miseries. Even though the pain came, but he was able to face it in the right mindset. We have examples of these personalities, similar to these personalities in the modern age, when great saints, they were able to display and exhibit similar qualities. Srila Prabhupada, he was at the last point of his departure when he was passing away. He actually was talking about Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam till his last breath, and he was training his students. And one of his students, Srila Bhakti Tirth Swami, he was an Afro American boy brought up in ghettos and slum kind of areas, and he didn't have resources, and he was Afro American, and there was a lot of racism still going on when he was born and brought up. And he was from a culture or a background where they had very limited means, not much was there. But he was an excellent student. He was very good in studies, and he was doing very well. And he graduated from school, went to the college, and in his college he was so good that he got scholarship, free tuition, and even the college will pay them money to go home back and forth, to be able to cover their costs. So he was in a very good situation in terms of academics. And what happened, he came across this book, Bhagavad Gita, and came across Srila Prabhupada. And he felt all the questions I had. He was going to study different religions, different philosophies, different topics. And now he felt like this has the essence to everything. And he started practicing Krishna consciousness and dedicated himself to this. So when he dedicated himself to this, he was excellent in this as well. He was reading, he was sharing, he was distributing books, and every day he will chant 42 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And as he was doing all of this, he was inspiring so many people. He became a very, very prominent leader, and great personalities like Nelson Mandela and Muhammad Ali and so many others, they were coming to get guidance from him. And as he was guiding everybody and sharing this Krishna consciousness with the world, in the later phase of his life, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, which was spread all over. And we know from experience of so many patients that how painful such situation can be. And these are one of the situations where doctors are more liberal in giving morphine and other medicines. And in his situation, he was suffering for so much pain, but he was always blissful. In fact, different these world leaders and other people who were coming to meet him, they were feeling more inspired. They initially thought we are just going to go, "Oh, so sorry, so sad that he got this disease. So we'll go," and they were talking to him, thinking that it will be better for him if we go to him, encourage him, and everything. But when they went in and spoke to him and came back, they felt like, oh my God, it's the other way around. He is inspiring and making us feel so much better uh, in terms of what we have and how much more we can do. And he's so happy and blissful. He's actually in a much better state of mind than us. That's how everybody was thinking. And this great saint, His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, he had students all over the world, and he was sharing Krishna consciousness in different parts of the world: Europe, Africa, um, North America, and so on and so forth. And he was stating in the last phase that what my guru has given me, this Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, and everything, I don't want to change my situation with anybody. Even though I'm in so much pain, I have this cancer all over my body. I don't know how long I have, but I would not want to trade my position with anybody. This is the greatest blessing I've got. So even though he was having these miseries, from anybody else's point of view, they'll be like, oh, so sorry for him. But actually, he's saying, no, no, this is the greatest situation, because what I'm able to experience right now with Krishna and Bhagavad Gita and giving this to others, that is the greatest blessing. So for him, these miseries were not existing. Another example of another disciple of Srila Prabhupada, very similar situation of terminal cancer. She could not even pick up a book, and then somebody gave her an iPad or a Kindle, and she will have all the books in there of Prabhupada, and she'll just tap and keep reading. And she was thinking at that time, this is giving me an experience that my guru is just next to me and teaching me Bhagavad Gita, and I would not want to trade this position with anybody, because such an experience of this I have had in the last few days, I did not have for, or I may not get this experience in any other situation. So, this is how those people who are spiritually advanced, their consciousness, their mind is so elevated that they can overcome such challenges or any challenges or any situation. So, this is what Krishna is referring to. Does it make sense?
It
Anybody would
does, Prabhuji. But I have a
please?
question here. As I was thinking, and I know which angle it is coming from, but in the real world, sometimes when you experience injustice, then even if you are surrendered to Lord, does that mean you should not um, you should not discreetly try to analyze and come to a conclusion that you have been treated unjustly, and does that injustice um, should not give rise to some sort of anger? I'm not saying like rage, but some sort of um, sense of rage, an anger that like, um, why did they do to me? Or even if you're not supposed to question that, even if you are dedicated to the Lord, should you think like, well, I'm with the Lord, and as if nothing happened to me?
Yeah. So in this case, we can see how the example of Pandava was. So Pandavas, they were um, in the forest with their um, father and mother, and his father died, and the mother Kunti brought all of the Pandavas home. At that time, there were so many attempts to kill the Pandavas, to attack the Pandavas. It's not that the Pandavas did not change their strategy and just accepted whatever it came. Initially, they understood there is a danger in forest, but there is danger in palace too. So they decided, okay, they leave the palace. And Mother Kunti, when they were in Varna Vrat and everybody thought they are burnt, Mother Kunti understood that these people are trying to attack and kill us. So better not go back, not go back to forest. And only when later on, when it was revealed that, oh, Pandavas are actually alive and well, and they should be welcomed back to the palace, then when they were welcomed back, then they came. And then they ruled with, all the duties, responsibilities, and all the principles they followed nicely. But when in the gambling match they were attacked, everything was stolen, Draupadi was, attacked. It's not that the Pandavas say, okay, that's fine, that's Krishna's arrangement. No, Pandavas understood that this kind of a behavior has to be dealt with, and we have to respond to it. We don't have to reflexly react and get angry, but actually we have to respond properly in a calm and composed and mature manner. And that's what Krishna guided them to do. And when Krishna was there and all the Pandavas initially thought, okay, we'll go and fight. But Krishna said, no, no. You have to try and make sure all the efforts are made to avoid a war. And therefore, you must send a peace messenger. And then Pandava said, but who will be such a good peace messenger to be able to, neutralize this? So then Krishna himself was selected that Krishna, you are the best. If you go, that will be best. And Krishna went and gave that option himself. But Pandavas were, even the Pandavas were ready, Kauravas were bent upon that no, we don't want to compromise. And then Krishna at that time said, okay, then, you you guys will regret, but if that's what you want, that's what you get. And then Pandavas, in this situation, Arjun is again thinking, oh, maybe I should not fight. But that's not right. Krishna already had done all what was needed at the right time, and now is not the time to go back. And that's what Krishna is explaining. And in this particular situation, Krishna is giving an example of how one has to be in the right consciousness and then fight and respond, not get angry, in rage, react. So Arjun while fighting or Hanuman while fighting, they are also angry. But that anger is actually being used in the service of the Lord. It is controlled anger. It is not uncontrolled anger. So when we are having such emotions, one has to maturely channelize that and use it constructively rather than destructively. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, it does.
Okay, great. Nice question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to make any comment? Okay, we'll go to the next shloka. 266. Please repeat. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya
नास्ति
Nasti
बुद्धिर्यस्य
nacha yuktasya bhavana
nacha yuktasya bhavana
nacha bhavayatah shantir
nacha bhavayata shantistu
शान्ति
ashantasya kuta sukham.
ashantasya kutat sukham.
सुखम्
Translation. Any volunteers who would like to read the translation and purport?
I can read.
Please.
One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Purport.
Please.
Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the fifth chapter, 5.29, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a sorry, I lost it. Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace. However, much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life. Krishna consciousness is a self manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for reading. Okay, so now Krishna is saying one who is not connected with the Supreme can neither have transcendental intelligence nor steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be happiness without peace? So now Krishna is saying it's a prerequisite to connect with the Supreme in order to get transcendental intelligence. And what is transcendental intelligence? Means it's not getting affected by outside influences which may be in satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. So when these gunas are acting on us, they are actually affecting the mind a lot. So right now in our situation, we obviously are not directly connected to the Supreme, even though we reading the Bhagavad Gita and we are starting the process, which is very good, and eventually we will get connected. But right now, as we are in the process, we have to deal with how the modes of nature are attacking us. So if the mode of goodness is there, then we feel calm, relaxed, peaceful. But then when the mode of passion comes, then we are, hyper excited. We are sometimes agitated. And when mode of ignorance comes, we may be lamenting, sad, depressed. So like that, different modes affect us. So we can't remain peaceful because the senses and the mind are getting agitated and going here and there because of all these modes. So if we are connected with the Supreme, we have transcendental intelligence, then mind will be steady. And when mind is steady and peaceful, then one will actually get happiness. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that without understanding that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, he is actually the father and the friend for everybody. He is actually having our best well wishes. He is thinking the best for us. And when we connect with Him and reciprocate to what He has given us by understanding that He is the person on whom all the yagyas, all the tapasya, all the austerity, anything we are doing, He is the enjoyer of all of that, then we will re-establish our connection with Him, and that will give the real peace which we are longing for, which we are looking for. And if that is not there, then our mind will keep getting into more and more agitation, restlessness, trouble, disturbance. We will think we are the enjoyer and we will try to enjoy and satisfy ourselves. But enjoyment, senses want so many different types of enjoyments. Mind wants so many different types of enjoyments, and it's going to go here and there, and it'll actually be uncontrolled. And those tendencies or objects which we are going to try to use, that oh, this will satisfy us, it will actually not give us peace and satisfaction. So the peace formula is to keep the senses under regulation, keep the mind in check, and that will happen by connection with the Lord. All these different ways the senses are going, mind are going, we can channelize them in the service of Krishna. And when they are channelized in that way, then it will become steadiness of mind, and it will actually be maintained. And this is something why spiritual life or spiritual advancement is very, very important. We have seen so many advancement in scientific technologies. So many different aspects have made our everyday work much easier. Our communication from different parts of the world, we can communicate in a touch of a button. Traveling, earlier people were having some cycle or bullock carts, now airplanes. So we see so much advancement and comfort has come, but the hollowness, dissatisfaction, depression, and suicide is actually making people kill themselves. And this is happening because people are not happy from within yet. So these other solving of all the different problems may be necessary, but it will not bring real peace and happiness which we are looking for. And this is the formula for real peace and happiness: to add spirituality, connect with the Lord, and apply it in our daily life. So these are few thoughts I can share from here. Anybody would like to add any points?
Just a thought came up in the mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So, as you were explaining that due to all the advancement in technology, yet we do not have internal peace or, or happiness. Are we, and this is a question, are we nearing the end of life by any chance? Because there is so much unhappiness and technology is just soaring high to the extent that it's killing people.
Yeah. So this is actually the end of life or not end of life is more specific to a person than extrapolating to the whole of the society, because the society or the whole humanity in general is very much constituting different individuals. Depending upon how the different individuals are putting their energies into, the outcome may happen in that way, but it may not be 100%. So right now technological advancement we can see is happening, but it'll keep happening. Every stage, every phase, every new era may have something new. To the extent it is not having spirituality, to the extent it is not having satoguna, to that extent it will be disturbing, and it can cause deadly results for the individuals. But those who are able to apply and able to get the best out of it, with mind controlled and spirituality on track, for them it may not be the end of life. Does it make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else would like to make any comment on this? Okay, so I think we'll try to do one more. This is also very important shloka. Please repeat. Indriyani, indriyanam hi charatam, indriyanam
Indriyanam hi taratam. Charatam.
yanmanonu vidhiyate,
Yadmadu
Yanmur
Vidite
diyate.
तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञानां
Tadasya harati
Saraswati Pragyana
prajnanam.
वायुर्नावम् इवाम्बसि.
Vayur namam ibhavasi.
Vayasi.
Okay. Any volunteer who would like to read the translation of it?
Yes, I can.
Please.
Translation. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Purport. Unless all of the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. As mentioned in the life of Maharaja Ambarish, all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is the correct technique for controlling the mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So wind is very powerful and it can take big ships. What to say of a boat? There was a story of how a couple of fishermen in Mexico, they were uh, doing some fishing a little bit away from the coast. They were in the deep sea, so they were trying to get some fish. But they were not too far. They were able to see the land and they were going to, they were planning to come back. But then a huge storm came, and the storm took their ship away, and took their boat away, and their boat was a motor boat, but unfortunately, the motor stopped working. Now they were in middle of the whole Pacific Ocean, not in the middle, but in the border of the Pacific Ocean, and the boat is not functioning, and the boat started to drag slowly, slowly. Now the boat kept going on the other direction with the storm, and the storm took the boat away. Now there were these two fishermen who were on the boat. They didn't have any means to contact or come back to land. And then, unfortunately, the boat kept going in some direction. And after more than 1 year, they came across an island. This island was in the middle of Pacific Ocean. And for that 1 year, these two people had hardly anything to eat or drink or do anything other than being in the boat. One of these fishermen died, and the other one, he had survived, and he came and told the whole story. So we see that one boat swept away caused death. Similarly, one of the senses which may drag our mind and consciousness away can actually take away our intelligence and can be deadly. So, if the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, then one is very much able to control the senses. One is very much able to control the mind. If proper uh, engagement or service is not there, then very difficult to control the mind. And this is seen in the example of Ambrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Ambrish Maharaj was a king. His senses were engaged in so many activities, but all of them were engaged in the service of the Lord. And Durvasa Muni, he was a sannyasi, he was controlling his senses, but because they were not properly regulated, his anger was uncontrolled. And because of his anger, Durvasa Muni cursed Ambrish Maharaj, that he was very easily able to curse. He cursed Ambrish Maharaj by creating a demon, and his idea was that demon will kill Ambrish Maharaj. So he was very powerful, Durvasa Muni. He could create demons. He could understand what's going on in different parts of the world. He had all these mystic powers. And sometimes people think somebody has these mystic powers, they can be God. They start worshipping them as God. But Durvasa Muni had them. Even Ravan, Kumbhakaran, Hiranyakashyap, they had so many mystic powers. Just because somebody can produce some gold or somebody can do some mystic thing, these tricks, that doesn't make them God. So therefore, we see even Durvasa Muni had all these. He was actually not glorified as an exemplary person, but Ambrish Maharaj, who was able to control the mind and the senses, he is the one who is actually exemplified for so many millennia, so many hundreds and thousands of years. We've been seeing great acharyas or saints have commented that how Ambrish Maharaj is exemplary. So we see if mind and senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, then the chances of getting carried away is not much. But if they are not properly engaged, then very high chances that they will get distracted or deviated. So these are few thoughts I can share from the shloka. Anybody else would like to share or make any comments or ask any questions? Okay, so we covered till 67. This chapter is about to end. Maybe in 1 or 2 sessions, we'll be completing this chapter. I think we can end for today if nobody has any questions. If anybody has any questions or any points, can share now. All right. So So we'll end here. Thank you very much. Kanantraj Bhagavad Gita ki